You already know. Showtime in the building. Sho Timetv podcast. I'm here with.
Destruct, aka Human Bomb, aka Mr. Boom.
So, I always got special guests in the building because you know how I do it. I got the superpowers. You know what I'm saying? I got Governor Tate in the building. Nah, I'm playing. Nah, we got Cool Breeze in the building, man. And I want you to introduce yourself the way you want to be introduced. How you spell your name properly with the C and how fancy you do it.
All right, my day one people know me as Cool Breeze, so of course,
Cool Breeze,
Sho Timetv in the building. But I'm also known as James CB Gray, and you can find me on all platforms under that moniker, James CB Gray, Gray. So,
I feel like my rent went up just talking to him right now. So look. So I gotta call you James through this whole thing, or CB?
No, you CB. All
right, CB. So check this out, right? Where do we start? Because you got a lot going on. You want to give us a little brief synopsis, on like what it is that you do, because people that don't know, but if you know, you know. You feel me?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Let's start with that.
Okay, so for those who don't know, I had to develop a way of dealing with time as a factor and saving time. So what I'll do is if I meet you and we're talking about music, then I'll just give you my whole music rundown, managing the label through Def Jam with Russell Simmons, up at Sony Records with Mark Pitts and Kurt Lightburn, and go through the whole gambit. We talk about film, then I'll talk about some of the projects that I've done, worked on, the distribution levels I have internationally, and how to properly do a serious production. So it all depends on what it is. So I do so much to where whatever we connect on, we'll just stay focused on that until something else, presents itself. Then we can open up other doors. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I deal with a lot of people, especially in the industry. But I do everything from film, television, politics, community activism. There's really not too much I don't do, and I've become a go-to person for just about everything. I'm a consultant on many levels, and that's what got me into consulting, is because I've been involved on so many levels and involved in so many things. So in the industry, I've become an industry executive consultant. So I'm consulting people on how to be successful in the music industry, the film industry, fashion, and television, because I've been an executive on all levels. So, and I've been worked for some of the top law firms in New York City for years too. So I've become a legal consultant on a lot of things as well. Especially police brutality, which is one of my big things. Just produced a documentary, a 3-part docu-series about police brutality called The Middleman. Amadou Diallo's mother, Trayvon Martin's mother. I got Eric Garner's mother narrating the documentary. Central Park 5 in there,
That's
some lower cops. It's amazing. You know what I'm saying? So it's always good to know the legal side of things to protect yourself, especially in the music industry. And see now that rolls off into what I'm doing with the hip hop fraternity right now too. You know what I'm saying?
You're gonna get into that. You're gonna get into that because
there's so
much.
Few
things. Yo, don't you? I could have sworn that you invited me somewhere in Herald Square, and you have a band too. You had a band. You was playing with a live band. Was that you or my brother?
Well, I started off as a drummer.
Okay. See?
Years ago, before I did all this other stuff, I started off as a drummer, and to this day, I still play. I don't have a lot of time to play as much as I want to, but I do dedicate every last Friday of the month to the Peace Cafe, Sister Aisha Sekou, Street Corner Resources. I'm also the board chair of that organization too. We have a thing called the Peace Cafe. It's an open mic for up-and-coming artists and who want to showcase their talent, specifically the youth. And me and my band are the live band, for the showcase.
I was about to say, you have a live band too?
Yeah.
I mean, I have a rapport with Cool Breeze, CB. You know what I'm saying? So
I got a question for you. Like, how am I just meeting him? This is crazy. This is crazy. That's the question I got for you.
Who, me?
I should have been met, dude. I should have been met the brother right there.
See, he don't understand. Like, I consider this a friend of mine. it's so crazy how things connect. Like he could be literally walking down the street in 42nd or something like that, and somebody try to get him to buy their music or say something to him.
Yeah.
And then he'll see my name on it, and he'd be like, "Wait, I know him," and they'd be like, "No, you don't." And then he'll call me, and then I'm like, "Yo, what's up?" And they'd be like, "Yo, he picked up the phone." I'm like, "Yo, that's I was like, yo, that's family right there." That happens so much.
Word.
You gotta understand, like I'm in this circle. Some people are they don't understand. They in industry circles where they see the same people over and over again. Mm-hmm. I'm in a different loops.
Yeah.
So it's like if I'm focusing on battle rap or a particular thing, I'm building that in my own space. I'm not following the crowd. I'm building off of my own momentum.
Yeah.
So I may not have to talk to CB right then and there because right now he's doing something that has nothing to do with that. But if it's an opportunity where we could get together and do that particular thing, we on it. Like we got other things that's going on.
Oh yeah.
We definitely do. Like we're gonna get to that too. We could talk about it.
Yeah.
But you haven't met him because he's been running around with because I saw you the TMZ thing.
Oh yeah.
Let's start with that. This is what I'm trying to tell you. What's going on with that?
No, TMZ. I'm working on something with them, but that actually.
What happened?
So
yes,
I was at Ice-T's house.
See, everybody know I met Ice-T a lot of times, and I met Coco a few times. I like to say that it's cordial, and I'm around. No wristbands, but you was at Ice-T's house.
Yeah. So
okay.
Just get this. That day.
It's at Ice-T's house.
I presented him with the first book that. From so me and Pimpin' Ken. We got Ice-T his book deal through Simon & Schuster. We became literary agents through Simon & Schuster, which is the #1 book publishing company in the United States of America. So what we did was, when we got the first copy, we wanted to surprise Ice and bring it to his house and make the special presentation at his house, his first book. He loved it, man. It was the video's on my Instagram page too.
Yeah, I saw it.
Watch that.
I seen it.
Oh, okay. So now at the same time, it just so happened that day we did a big media press day.
Yeah.
So we had about 5 major podcasts that flew in. One from Florida, one from Texas, one from California, and some PR people in between. So that was like a big media day we had at his house, and he's so cool, man. He's like, "Yo, come to the crib." Big fish tank behind us. It was amazing. So. We did the what's the name of that something talk? I forgot the name of the podcast, but we did an interview and we were talking about the hip hop fraternity, the whole conception of it. Ice-T launched a thing called the Rhyme Syndicate back in the 80s, and that was a conglomerate that brought other hip hop artists together, and it was basically framed around how the mafia. Organized, themselves. And he was given a whole rundown of how the blueprint became the format for the Rhyme Syndicate. And it basically symbolized the fact that in the mafia, they can agree to disagree on things. So they can all come together from the 5 families and say, okay, we're gonna work together on these things right here. All right. If you got beef with this person, guess what? We're gonna all sit down and resolve this issue so nobody gets killed.
Right.
He said, so if the mafia could do that, why can't we do that in hip hop? And I was like, wow, we never thought about it. So Ice had that idea, and he was already in that frame of mind of reciprocating and bringing brothers together for something bigger, and that's how the Rhyme Syndicate started. So years later, when Pimpin' Ken came to me and was telling me about the hip hop fraternity and how he wanted to roll that out, I said, wow, this is amazing. And then Ice-T was like, yo, this is the same type of blueprint I had for the Rhyme Syndicate. So that's when he's like, yo, I love it. Let's go. And he's, that's why he's our national advisor. I'm sure he's on the board. And he's encouraged us and gave us a lot of great insight on how we should move out with this. So as a partner, as a big brother and an OG, he's been with us since the inception of this and helped us along the way. So he said, listen, is there anything I could do to help get the word out about this? So that's why he said, listen, whatever you need from me, let me know. And it wasn't about, okay, we're going to charge this. No, it's, Ice is like, and Pimpin' Ken are like brothers. I met Ice on the set of Law and Order. And I'm playing a police officer on Law and Order, and I'm like, yo, Ice, man, we got a mutual friend in common. He's like, who's that? I said, Pimpin' Ken. He's like, yo, that's my brother. So he walked away, right? So he starts texting. He gets about 20 steps away, turns back around, looks at me, came back. He said, yo, listen, man, if anybody speaks highly of you when they're not there, that speaks volumes about your character. And I'm like, wow. And he showed me the phone. He showed me what Pimpin' Ken texted him. And Pimpin' Ken said, yo, that's a good brother. You need to network with him. So Ice-T's like, hold on. If somebody tell me I need to network with somebody, they got to be somebody doing some amazing stuff, But he already felt the vibe. And we just connected right there. You know what I'm saying? And then he started seeing all the other stuff that I was bringing to the table and everything that me and Ken had already had established. He's like, oh, man. Psh. So then we set up the book deal of Simon & Schuster, and the rest is history. So,
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy. And this is the reason why I wanted you to be on this podcast, because a lot of people see me in different things, but it's a lot of textures to me. So they don't really understand the reason why when I'm sitting with an artist or I'm trying to work with an artist and I say, hey, I see what you want to do, but let's make this realistic. Yeah. Or like certain things, is because I have people like you that I've got advice from, been through things with, and actually been through that particular thing. So the conversation is different. So I said, this is a way for me to bridge that kind of gap where like an artist or battle rap artist that's new, or just somebody that want to get into like some type of film or type of industry, they get to see the relationships that I have and the mentality of the people that help me, build, because I didn't do this shit myself. It's the relationships and calling me in the middle of the night like, yo, bro, I got this tomorrow. Yo, get the cameras, yo. I'm like, what? Like,
I remember calling Showtime years ago, man. I'm like, yo, Showtime, man. Can we curse on here?
Yeah, we
like, yo, fuck all those niggas.
Yo,
they don't. I remember saying this to them, like, you don't owe them niggas nothing.
Facts.
And they don't even understand that you're the blessing in their life. You're trying to connect them. And so sometimes when you give something to somebody, they don't really appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? But when they have to work for it, when they have to work to be in your presence, now it's a whole nother story. But guess what? By that time, they already see that you're moving.
I feel like I'm going through that now. Yeah. I feel like I'm in a different space, right? And I know like even the negativity is like, I'm like, no, thank you. That's our new shit. We be like, no, thank you. No, thank you. Yeah. Like, I feel like I'm in a different space. Even when it comes to like being in a relationship, it's a conversation that I'm not willing to have. It's like, I'm not willing to answer something.
Well, no, you're not. You know what? I do a lot of podcasts about relationships too. And one of the things that I'm so happy about now is that a lot of the brothers are really understanding their true culture and their true calling in the essence. So even in relationships, it's like you're not begging nobody to be with you now. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm not willing to have a confrontation.
Oh,
you understand when you deal with certain things on a certain level, you see things in people's life and things that people experience, and you're like, that's not enough for me to have a headache over. Like, this is, I'm not doing this. So like, you may think that I'm coming off funny or I'm being weird. Like, no, this is not an issue. Yeah. This is not a factor to me.
Yeah.
It's not. And I'm not saying I'm right. There's times where I'm wrong and I'm like, you know what? And I apologize. I know what I did. Or sometimes I know I'm doing it wrong. And I'm like, at this moment, like, I need this. But but
it's serious. Like, and I see a lot of people who are in relationships, man, that are not benefiting them. You know what I'm saying? And there has to be a balance. Okay? And the balance is so important, but when you have a one-sided situation, somebody's always going to be slighted. Somebody's going to be getting a bad end of the deal. So until we start understanding how important that balance is, and this balance goes throughout life in every aspect, but it's very important in the relationship aspect. So when you look at society, there's a lot of things that are going on in our society right now. Like, for instance, right now, our society, the way it's moving, it's not nurturing family values
at all.
It's not nurturing the essentials that you need in order to survive. Because right now, the life expectancy of a marriage and a heterosexual capacity is 2 to 5 years.
That's crazy.
Now, check this out. If the female has a college degree, it goes up to 93%. So from 80%, that's like normal. You get married right now to a black woman, your divorce rate is at 80% starting off the gate. So what you have to configure is 50% of my lifetime earnings are on the table right now. And there's an 80% chance that this divorce could come through within 2 to 5 years. And this statistical data that's real. So if you look at it, what would you do in that case? You say, oh, well, prenup. Well, guess what's happening now? They found a loophole for that. Oh, he made me sign the prenup under duress or under threat.
There's ways around it now.
Okay,
Yep.
and guess what? That prenup is voided now. So you see what I'm saying? So we got to look at what makes sense in this case right now when it comes to marriage or
just relationships. Just business. It's
well, the marriage is a lot of times not even real no more because number one, like 1 out of 4, couples are actually gonna make it to marriage, and then those that do, marriage now in our society is literally a precursor to divorce. So if you look at anything that requires a license, that constitutes business. Because when you fill out an application, they don't ask you if you're married for no reason. The fact that you're now in a business arrangement, it has to be recognized in order for us to put you in another tax bracket.
Sign if you can.
You see what I'm saying?
Right? If you can't, she can. Right?
It's a lot that people don't understand. And the fact that holy matrimony is not really a part of marriage anymore, it's a major factor.
I'm not saying this we're not saying this to discourage nobody.
No.
You have people who do really love each other and people who do vibrate on a certain level. It's just that we just got to really take our times and really
they still need this information that the brother's talking about, though.
No, I'm not saying that.
No, but at the end of the day, you have to look at what works for you. So
all I'm saying is that he's absolutely right. But I don't want to discourage people neither. Like, just like he's saying, that is the truth. But there are people out there that are flourishing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no doubt.
But
there's a small demographic of people that are happy.
This is mostly going on. And this is the sad thing. This is what's mostly going on.
Yeah.
You know?
It's sad, man. And I see it all the time, And like I said, it's just good to know where the reality of your situation and where you stand before you make crucial decisions that are going to
I'm not even talking about marriage. I'm just talking about just spending my time in general. I'm just not willing to have certain conversations that's not worth having because this is not a situation. It's not an emergency. Nobody's dying. There's no reason to go to bed under duress. Right? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So what is before we all right, so we got the hip hop society, that's what you call it?
Hip hop fraternity.
Hip hop fraternity. Yeah. So how do you get in the hip hop fraternity?
All you got to do is go onto the website www.thehiphopfraternity.com. Thehiphopfraternity.com.
Okay, and then sign up.
You sign up, become a member. There's a bunch of things that we have, resources that we have available to artists. And I encourage everybody. So right now we got about 35 chapters throughout the United States, different states. All right. So what happens is you sign up on the website and you'll be able to find the chapter nearest you, like wherever state you live in. Like say you're in Atlanta. Atlanta's actually our headquarters. So in Atlanta, we have a big setup out there. And if you're in Atlanta, boom, you connect with the Atlanta chapter, and then you can come out every Monday night. We have a big, matter of fact, tonight is a big event going on in Atlanta, open mic showcase. So what we do is new artists that come in, they come to the showcase, we let them get up on stage and perform. All right, if everything goes right with that, boom, they come into the network and they see all the other resources we have. We have major DJs that are on radio, program directors. Matter of fact, we just did a big music festival in Atlanta for the last 4 days out there. And all these new artists from all over, man, are just, they're riding this wave. Hip Hop Fraternity is, first and foremost, a think tank. Okay? 90% of black entities and organizations don't have a think tank. 90% of white do. Now, the purpose of a think tank is to govern your primary demographic and really look at where you stand on a platform.
Like this.
You know, when it comes to validity, when it comes to your network and your resources. So back in the days, I used to do these surveys, and I'm like, okay, they pay me $100 just to answer a couple of questions. I didn't realize that the question that I was asking was allowing this entity to fine-tune its product and identify specifically with this demographic more directly. That right there, that $100 they gave me is nothing compared to the money they're going to make because of the information I gave them about their product. You see what I'm saying? So that's when I started doing more investigation on what think tanks really do and how they can best serve you. I'm promoting now that every organization should have a think tank. The average think tank consists of about 10 to 20 white males between 50 and 70 years old. These guys are totally out of touch with urban America, hip hop, and all this stuff. So they have no idea what's going on. So they have to pay people like us to answer questions and say, oh, what's that about? And the more information they get, this is how they understand that information is key. Information is money. Information is more important than money in a lot of cases because now it allows you to be more effective on the market. You see what I'm saying? So always, create the analogy of how important a think tank is because of what we try to do as black people in business so much as we try to get over, trying to get a deal.
There we go.
Trying to cut corners. Guess what? Mm-hmm. That is not a long-term effective strategy in business. And the more we can understand how business works, see, a lot of times we come out of poverty and put poverty into business, and that shit does not work. You have to have a mindset of successful business operation in order to really be successful. So it would be, that's one thing about 50 Cent. He might not know everything, but guess what? He's smart enough to hire the people that do. Jay-Z, they know how to hire the people that do. You see what I'm saying? If you have that component, then you're just as effective as somebody who knows how to do whatever needs to be done. So the better you can operate by the better information that you can have. So now we got AI coming in now. That's a whole nother level that we're about to take this to.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But we got to have the mind frame now of successful business operation and strategy in order to reap any benefits from there. You see what I'm saying? So the think tank concept, and my brother Pimpin' Ken is a marketing genius. For those who don't know who Pimpin' Ken is, Pimpin' Ken is well known for Pimps Up, Hoes Down, Hookers on the Point. He produced all of these.
That's my. He hit the chick with the roller quarters. Yo, that's my shit. I said that out loud. I mean, damn. No, I'm not saying that was good.
No. Well, see, the good thing about all this is he did all that. Yeah. He produced all these documentaries for HBO. They made millions and everything.
Remember that?
And that took him to a whole nother level. Mm-hmm. And eventually he retired from pimping, changed his life around, and started, getting more active in community engagement, talking to the youth and everything like that. And along that whole process, me and him crossed paths, and we just gelled so much because everything that I was already into, the things that he was, into as well. So the conversations, the business aspect, we started doing business deals immediately, and he brought me into the whole Simon & Schuster thing, introduced me to Boosie and all that. And then I brought him into the activism.
And then you call SHO-TIME up next month.
Yeah.
Find something for me to do.
Oh, no, come on, man. Look,
here you go.
We about to blast off, man.
What is the closest chapter here? So where we are now?
Okay, so we're in the Bronx?
Yes.
All right, there's an amazing gentleman by the name of Dr. Philip Gates Jordan, a.k.a. Phil Gates. My business partner for over 20 years. He's the head of the Bronx chapter of the hip hop fraternity. So
you say you don't say.
Yeah.
You don't say.
Phil Gates. If you was P_Gates on Instagram.
Okay.
Phil Gates, yeah. So now me and Phil have an organization called the Strong Enough Achievers Foundation, which is actually located right here in the Bronx. I'm the vice president of the Strong Enough Achievers Foundation. Phil is the CEO and founder. And we're building a 14-story building right now in the Bronx, 103 low-income apartments. The first floor is going to be a state-of-the-art community recreational center. Funkmaster Flex signed on to for the recording studio. He's sponsoring that.
Okay.
State-of-the-art recording studio. We're going to teach the kids how to record, engineer, and produce. On the other side, we got Olympic-size boxing gym. Iran Barkley, professional boxer, is going to be overseeing that the boxing gym. Now, the boxing gym, because a lot of people are like, oh, man, that's such a... listen, one of the main reasons a lot of the shooting's going on because these kids don't know how to fight no more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? There was a time when we could let them put on the gloves and settle disputes. You know what I'm saying? So we not only that part, but we want to teach the kids the discipline of boxing and how important it is to live to fight another day.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Then we're going to have the career program that's going to be in the back. We're going to be certifying young males how to become engineers, carpenters, and electricians. Now, the glory of that is they systemically took out all these VOTEC programs out of the schools in New York City, specifically because they interfered with the school-to-prison pipeline. That's another thing I'm big on. Okay, we're reversing all these generational curses, putting them back in proper perspective in order for ourselves and our people to flourish. Right now, a child that knows how to, has a skill as a tradesman, a carpenter, electrician, or plumber, those jobs right now in the market are paying from $80,000 to $95,000 a year. Okay, so now what you got to look at is this: the percentage of young black and brown males that already don't go to college. That same demographic can get a trade and be sustainable to the point where they could provide for themselves and the family legitimately.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we did the math on this. You can win with a trade. College is not for everybody, and actually, doing the statistical data on that, I'm looking at a lot of the young black and brown males and even females, because this is co-ed thing, that entered the college and are not prepared. So when you look at the education system here in New York City, per se, and a lot of other places, it really doesn't prepare them for college. So that's a sabotage right there. Mm-hmm. So what happens is, they'll push them on through, and they get to graduate, and then when they go to college, they say, "Oh my God!" They're so embarrassed that they don't really understand the curriculum. They're so embarrassed because a lot of campuses are racial, discrimination and all that stuff. So they're not comfortable already. So then they were like, you know what? I'm gonna just lean back off of this and go get a job. And it's not so much they didn't want to learn.
That sound like.
There's no accommodation. There's no connection. And even the HBCUs, a lot of times, there's red tape and there's other things going on there too. So what we got to look at is college is not for everybody. What happens to the demographic that don't go to college? A lot of times they slip through the cracks and they end up in the school-to-prison pipeline.
That's a broad topic, because I'm about to get
forever.
it. Before we go, right?
Yeah.
What's up with the Hit Boys? What we doing with that? Is that gonna happen?
So you remember, JD from The Wire, light skin cat?
Yeah.
He just signed on.
Okay.
So we just did a Kansas City episode.
All right.
So we flew Marquand. You know Marquand Smith? Marquand Smith is the writer and executive producer for the Harlem Godfather TV show.
Okay.
Like a big brother to us, and he came down. He's been with us since day one. We've been filming Hit Boys Redemption for about 1.5 years now.
Yeah, and what happened?
No.
He's wilding right now.
So it's evolving.
I'm like, listen, when is my scene coming up? What is going on, right?
It's
He's
evolving.
like, yeah, Showtime next week, we call you. So I'm like,
no, you know what? No, because COVID
they wilding
messed
right
up a lot of stuff. It put us on hold.
Nah, I'm just messing with you. But you got to stop playing.
We got you.
Got to stop playing.
We just talking about you the other day with that too.
Oh, really? So you must know my bro C Mass then.
I met him before. Yeah,
because he's part of that project, the Godfather Harlem joint.
Yeah, I met him before.
Yeah, good.
So Marquand is like the writer, executive producer, and he's like one of Bumpy's right hand guys. You know what I'm saying? So he's starring in our joint. So the Hit Boys Redemption is about the Valley Mob, which is right here in the Bronx. So before Wolf got down with Puffy as his bodyguard, he was with the Valley Mob. RZA and a couple other cats. I ain't gonna say too many names right now, but it's serious. Like that story touches Bad Boy. That story touches Uptown Records. That story touches BMF.
Corrupt is still in it?
Yeah, we got Corrupt from the Dog Pound too. You know what I'm saying? And it touches Death Row Records. Without Corrupt just happens to be in the movie.
It better touch Showtime's hard too.
So there's about three different TV shows that are out right now that are not even talking about some of these things that happening in a real story.
So, I said y'all was talking about me last week, which I was saying, because I was.
Well, we, like I said, it's evolving now. So we're looking at how the best.
That's my cell phone, man.
How the best, put you in there and to make it right. We got Lenny Green from WBLS playing the club owner.
Copy,
you know what I'm saying? We got Darrell Hicks from Belly. She's
wow.
Yeah. So I think that's gonna be the next scene. You know, we just did a crazy robbery scene that and that's where you get to see all the guns.
We definitely going to talk more about this because this guy's out of control right now.
Yeah. No, and that's the one. We got like 3 other projects coming. Man.
Before we go, because we about to wrap it up. Because see, I enjoy this conversation.
I started yet.
I know. What's the next project you got coming up before we close out?
I just starred in a film called They Devour. You can go on IMDb and just type in that name. We're gonna have the red carpet premiere at Regal Cinemas on Times Square, July 6th.
I'll need my invite.
I'll give you more info. I'll send you a flyer.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, VIP
Thank
status.
You, sir. I'm back.
Showtime's
back.
Congratulations on everything you accomplished and everything you are going to accomplish. And thank you for that info. I needed all the info that you just gave me.
I got more of that info.
No doubt. We're going to definitely
so
chop
listen,
it up.
if he call you up, if he hit you up, man, you hit me up first. And then I talk.
Because that type of information is so important. Like, I got to meet Kevin Samuels 2 weeks before he died. And he wanted to meet me because he saw some of the stuff that I was doing, really on the fashion side. He didn't know that we had so much in common on the topics that he talks about a lot. But I agree with him on some stuff, but there's some stuff I don't. And the proper context and perspective is.
I just realized who you're talking about.
Better understanding, and with who we are and what we're doing. Because like he said earlier, everything got to make sense. You know what I'm saying? And these relationships got to make sense too. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
There's so much involved in day-to-day relationships that don't involve that man being happy and having understanding, because the protocol has been something else for so long that now in our society doesn't register because abnormalities are the new norm.
But you can't listen. Let's not give them all yet. You got to come back.
Oh yeah. I come back.
This is part one because like I said, we got a lot to talk about because there's history here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, there's so much.
So you got to come back here. I say I'm gonna give you maybe 2 months, a month.
All right.
I'm gonna give you a month to come back here to pick up off to piggyback.
Yeah. All right, cool. I
For
don't
the
want
next
to overwhelm y'all.
Yo, I just wanted them to know what's going on.
He came in with a loaded clip.
Exactly. I knew this was gonna happen. Just let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, James CB Gray, James CBGRAY, and that's all across the board. And I also encourage everybody to centralize your handle so people don't have to go digging for you, because some of the people that you want to network with don't have time to be digging up Lakeisha's email address and all this long drawn out stuff. But I'd suggest put your name in it, your brand in it, your website in it. Something that directly results with you, because sometimes they might go to Google and type in that name, and guess what? They need to see everything that you're doing involved in that perspective. So the better you can centralize your handle, the better it works for you with Google platforms and
gotta start dominating that search engine.
So everything, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Wikipedia, IMDb, everything is James C.B. Gray to the letter.
Facts.
Because I don't want you to miss nothing.
Nothing.
And when you do that, everything pops up on that Google search and analytics.
You already know, Showtime TV podcast. There was
another great one.
Councilman Tate was in the building. Shout out to 50. Now let me stop. My man CB, he did what he had to do. I knew what he was going to do. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be back with the part 2. Showtime TV podcast. My guest right here, the truck. Boom. We out of here. You heard?
Peace.